How's it going, guys and girls? Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. A big result for Aston Villa, to be fair. Coming to the Emirates, claiming a point. A good point for Aston Villa in their quest for the top four. But Arsenal, again, 2-0 up this time and dropping a 2-0 lead to draw 2-2 against Aston Villa. Obviously, we can weigh up the pros and cons of the game, the good performers, the bad performers. But overall, I just want to talk about Arsenal in terms of this season and where I believe Arsenal are at. It's fair to say Arsenal haven't been the same at all this season. They have been so poor this season, Arsenal, in terms of overall performances. I have not been too impressed that throughout this season with Arsenal's performances. I really don't. I think they've dropped off a level. Players like Odegaard, players like Declan Rice, Trossard, Martinelli. I think Martinelli's been worked out, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't think Martinelli was particularly fantastic last season. Saka's the one shining light for Arsenal as an attacking threat. Obviously, Trossard is a decent player, and I think Trossard, apart from Saka, is probably our best finisher in terms of in this current Arsenal team. But everyone seems to have dropped off, and now Saka's injured. We look a bit kind of lacking creatively. It's one of those things when I'm watching Arsenal right now, I don't actually believe we're going to score until we actually do score a goal. I'm watching Arsenal, and until we score that goal, I'm thinking to myself, I don't think we're going to score. The only time we ever look like we're going to score is from a set piece, a corner, a free kick on the edge of the area, or just a basic cross into the box. And that was how we got our first goal through Martinelli. But that is the only way I look at Arsenal right now, and I feel like we're going to actually score a goal. But at this point, when I'm watching Arsenal, can we win the league? Can we realistically challenge for this league? I think we've brought it back to 7 points. We've actually narrowed the gap to 7 points a couple of times now, and we haven't made the most of our game. We drew against Aston Villa. And Aston Villa obviously in the hunt for top four. They're a good side. Unai Emery is a top manager. Last season, obviously, Aston Villa came to the Emirates and put on a masterclass and won 2-0. But we were 2-0 up in this game. And we should be seeing that out. The goals, they were well taken. Both of Aston Villa's goals, not taking anything away. They were fantastic finishes. Tielemans' header was class. Ollie Watkins' goal at the far post was a brilliant finish above David Raya. But the space, and just almost, particularly for the second goal, the space Ollie Watkins was in, the first goal as well, Moreno not following his man. It's people. I've heard Paul Merson say on Sky Sports, schoolboy errors, and when I heard Paul Merson say that, I don't think Paul Merson's a particularly good pundit, but yeah, they were schoolboy errors, and Arsenal they lack composure. And this is, for me now, this is the question I'm asking of Arsenal. Is it a mentality thing? Because I looked at Arsenal last season, we were challenging for the league, and it was that game against Aston Villa last season in which we dropped points. We lost 2-0 against Aston Villa. The season prior to that, we were top of the league. We had an 8-point lead, I think, going into the final 6 to 8 weeks of the season. We drew at Anfield, which, on reflection, is a good result. And then we obviously dropped points at West Ham from 2-0 up, and then we drew 3-3 against Southampton, and then we got battered at the Etihad and it all collapsed. Is it a mentality thing with Arsenal? I have mentioned this a few times now about Arteta, in terms of when I've been talking to friends and talking to people that I know. Is Arteta a silver medal manager? He seems to be the kind of manager for me that can't get over the line. Is Arteta a silver medal manager? I would love to see Arsenal win a league, obviously. I've been an Arsenal fan, like I said, since the age of 12. But I just look at this Arsenal team, and I'm looking at Arteta, and I feel like Arsenal under Arteta, and Arsenal, many people could argue they have been for many years, kind of a team that is a nearly team. They can challenge, but they can't quite get over the line. Hence why I call Arteta a silver medal manager. Can he take Arsenal to gold? Because for the last 2 seasons, we probably should have won the league, and we haven't been able to. And this season, we've fallen short at a time as well. We've probably had our worst season in the last 3 at a time when Manchester City are at their worst. When Man City are at their most vulnerable, Arsenal have almost not taken advantage of that. We haven't had our best season, particularly from an attacking sense. We've been quite flat. We've dropped points. We've looked a bit more sloppy. We haven't looked as creative. Like I said, set pieces seem to be the only way we can score goals of late. And obviously, Man City's drop-off. Naturally, when Man City dropped off, everyone probably thought, it's Arsenal's year. If Man City were to have a significant drop-off, everybody would have pointed to Arsenal as the next favourites to win this title. But Liverpool have come from nowhere under Arne Slot, and it seems like it's now Liverpool's to lose. But the game as a whole, look, I am watching Arsenal, and I don't have any belief that we can score goals from open play, and that's my biggest concern. I know people can say the first goal was an open play, it was a cross, but it was a cross again. We seem to be crossing the ball in a hell of a lot of late. And, like I said, set pieces have worked for us. If we're scoring goals from these, types of way of playing, then there's no criticism. Obviously, I'd rather, like I said it in my previous video when I was reflecting about Tottenham and talking about Tottenham Hotspur. I would rather play boring football and win 1-0 than play scintillating football, end-to-end stuff, and lose a game 4-2. It's, it's all about winning, and that's what football's all about. But when Aston Villa look dead and buried, that goal goes in, and then they nearly score straight after that as well, when Tielemans hits the post, literally within a couple of minutes after Arsenal conceded the first goal to Tielemans through the header. Tielemans nearly goes up the other end again 2 minutes later and hits the post for 2-2 literally within 90 seconds. And that game could have easily have turned at that point from 2-0 to 2-2 within 90 seconds. Who do you question? Who do we actually point the finger at in terms of this? Now, many people are going to point the finger at Arteta. Many people are going to point the finger at the mentality of the football club defensively. I know Arsenal have actually got a pretty good defensive record this season in the Premier League, but I think that's kind of one of those flattery things. I think Gabriel's been fantastic. I think Saliba's dropped off. I do believe Saliba's dropped off. I think Gabriel's been fantastic once again. But I don't think we don't look as compact at the back. We don't look as watertight at the back as we have done in recent seasons, in my view. It does seem like we're conceding sloppy goals a little bit more than we have done over the past 2 seasons. And subsequently, that's going to cost you. The next question has to be, people can talk about who's going to win the league at Liverpool and Arsenal. There's all these polls online. Have your say. Who do you think is going to win? Liverpool are going to win this league. There is no question in my mind that the champions of England come the end of this season are going to be Liverpool Football Club. We saw Liverpool. This was the difference, and we kind of saw the difference between the two sides even this weekend. Liverpool grabbed 2 late goals against Brentford away from home, a difficult away game. Arsenal go 2-0 up against Aston Villa and surrender 2 points. It's that for me. You kind of see it in that moment. I mean, you can't isolate one little moment and say that's kind of, Liverpool are going to win the league because they scored against Brentford late on. But Liverpool have looked better than Arsenal attacking-wise. For me, they look more of a solid team defensively. Despite Arsenal's defensive records, I still believe Liverpool are the strongest team. And Liverpool have a game in hand once again to go 9 points clear. And if they win that game in hand, it's back to 9 points. And, I look at Arsenal and, people can talk about this. Oh, last season, Arsenal went on a fantastic run at the end of the season. They won 14 of the last 16 games. I'm thinking, can you see Arsenal doing that this season? And more importantly than that, can you see Liverpool dropping 9 points to allow Arsenal to overtake them with what's left of the season? Because I can't picture Liverpool dropping 9 points or, losing 3 games. I can't picture it. I don't even know I'm not actually particularly sure at this point what the goal difference is between Liverpool and Arsenal, but maybe Arsenal would need to actually even gain another victory, if you know what I mean. So Liverpool would need to potentially Liverpool would potentially need to lose 3 and then draw 1 for Arsenal to take over, depending on the goal difference, or lose 4 in a row. So I can't picture Liverpool dropping that many points between now and the end. And like I've said, Arsenal have shown, even when Liverpool drop points, or even when they have a chance to take an advantage on Liverpool, or to keep the pressure on Liverpool, Arsenal can't hack it. And like I said, it comes back to, is it a mentality thing? Is it Arteta? Is he a good enough manager? Is he a silver medal manager, like I've said? Or are the players just simply having an off season? Because last season they should have won the league. The season before that they definitely should have won the league. But for me, it comes down to the one important question when I look at Arsenal. Forget mentality, forget Arteta for this point. We need a striker. We need an out-and-out goal scorer, a poacher who can bag, between 15 and 20 goals every single season. Because Kai Havertz, I think Kai Havertz would be good. I think Kai Havertz's perfect role is just behind the striker, and I think in that role, I think he can have a real influence for Arsenal. But as the leading forward for Arsenal, Kai Havertz is nowhere near the answer. He's nowhere near the answer. I don't think he's strong enough. I don't think he's overall good enough on the ball. And thirdly, I don't think he's a fantastic finisher. I think he's actually a really poor finisher. I don't think Kai Havertz is a natural goal. Well, he's not a natural goal scorer. There's no I think about it. He is not a natural goal scorer. Jesus is not a natural goal scorer. I heard Arsenal have been linked with Benjamin Šeško from RB Leipzig. There's been talks of Arsenal being linked with Vlasic from Juventus, who scored, obviously, I think he scored a couple of goals or a goal against Man City in the Champions League over the past couple of months at the Juventus stadium. So we'll see. We'll see what can be done in the January transfer window. I'm not expecting too much business to be done in January because it never usually is. It usually takes till the summer, but we need a striker to solve this problem. I would honestly go as far as to say that the rest of this season in terms of the Premier League is a bit of a, people are going to disagree with this, but I think it's a bit of a washout. I don't think we've got any chance of winning the league. I don't think we've got any chance of winning the Premier League this season. With the way we're playing, our consistency, I don't think we've got a chance. I think the best we can hope for is second, and that is what I honestly believe. Champions League, yes, Champions League, we're doing well in that. Looks like we're going to progress from the league phase of the Champions League. League Cup seems like we're all but out of that against Newcastle. FA Cup, obviously, we lost against Man United. So, next season for me, if we get a striker in either January, which seems unlikely, or in the summer, next season is the time, I think, again. And I think next season could be a big one. If Arsenal get a striker, next season is then huge for Arteta, because then he's got zero excuses. If they can keep everyone fit as well, he literally has zero excuses, because then we've got almost the perfect team. If we can keep everyone fit and we've got a forward who can score goals, there's no excuse for Arteta. And next season, I do think it could be do or die for Arteta. I still don't believe there's many managers better in terms of managers that are available. People talk about Arteta, Arteta out. I've heard so many Arsenal fans say Arteta out. I'm not an Arteta out man. I don't think there's anyone who is available that could potentially do a better job than him. So I definitely wouldn't say that. But next season could be do or die for Arsenal. If we get a striker in and if we keep everyone fit, Arteta, for me, then is under a bit of pressure because he's almost got the perfect team. And, that's when I think I will personally maybe even start myself to turn on Arteta if we can't start winning trophies. But guys, have your say. What do you guys and girls think about Arsenal? Is the title race over? Is it Liverpool's? We have to give credit to Aston Villa as well. They were absolutely fantastic. Almost forgot that. Let's give huge credit to Aston Villa. They were brilliant. Again, I thought Aston Villa really, particularly in the second half, they weren't too good in the first half, but second half they really pressured Arsenal and they really created some good chances and maybe even could have got more themselves in the end. So full credit to Aston Villa and Unai Emery. But as for Arsenal, where do you stand? Can Arsenal still challenge for the league? Can Arsenal still push Liverpool and maybe overtake Liverpool at some point? For me, I'm not holding my breath. But what do you guys and girls think? Put it in the comments below and have your say. But yes, thank you ever so much, guys and girls. I will be back with another video very shortly. Take care of yourself.